All right, so welcome here once again. My name is Timothy Anete. All right, and if this is your first time on this channel, I would like you to do me a favor. Before we get in properly into this particular session today, which we are going to be talking about why perception is everything in Nigerian real estate marketing and sales. You can see that I made it very specific to geolocation, all right, our geographical location, Nigeria. All right. As you can see on the tagline, it says your brand authority is your convincing power. All right. What this means is very simple. All right. Perception is everything in Nigerian real estate marketing and sales presently. Not even presently, it's been like that because we are operating in a physically identified economy. What I mean is that you are physically assessed. You are physically assessed before you are even given an opportunity to express expertise, to express experience, and to express your skill. All right. So today we're going to be looking at why perception is everything, all right, in Nigerian real estate marketing. But before we delve into it properly, I want you to look up beside you on this video. You're going to see a button that says subscribe, all right. I want you to click on that button, and at the same time, I want you to click on that like button on this video because already what you're going to gain in here is very valuable. So you don't even have any doubt if you're going to get value. Of course, it's very valuable. So before we proceed, I need all you to also click on the share button so that you can share this on your timeline. Someone can benefit from it as well. All right. And then leave a comment if you have any question at the end of the day so that I can attend to it. I can also guide you further. But so let's go in properly into this so that we can do justice to it. And remember, your brand authority is your convincing power. So let's see how we can help you build that authority that your brand needs. All right. So first and foremost, what is perception in real estate marketing and sales? What exactly is perception as we are actually talking about today? It's there is no rocket science around it. A lot of persons have shared a thing or two regarding perception, but this particular one is specifically tied to the real estate and specifically as well in Nigeria. All right, we are talking about it based on geographical location. All right. So, simply, perception is the mental picture your audience forms about you. For instance, your personality. All right, as a realtor or as a developer, how do people see you as? When they come across you, what do they easily identify? What do they place a judgment to? For instance, you see, people don't trust you because you ask them to. People trust you by what they have identified that links back to you. For instance, your brand identity, all right? Your brand communication, your expression of expertise, your years of experience as identified, all right? Your intentional educational means in your niche, all right? Which are the things that form an authority to your personality. All right, so it's the mental picture your audience forms about your property and then your brand. All right, you can see that you may have the best property in the best location, but if it's not projected rightly for the right perception to be identified, you are going to also be at the negative side of the media. All right. The truth is that who controls the media controls the sales. Who controls the media controls the income. Who controls the media controls the business growth. All right. So you have to intentionally understand that the media is a hungry space where people are fed the public through where people feed the public through rather. All right, so you have to wake up and make sure that the perception, the mental picture that your audience, your prospects have about your brand, have about your personality, have about your product, your property, so to say, is on the positive side. All right. When they see you as an honest, trustworthy, experienced, and deeply committed realtor or developer. Now, these are not things that you demand. All right. For instance, you've gone to if you go to if you've been to a local market in Nigeria, let's just say like you go to Aba, a market in Aba, all right, and then you ask the seller, maybe you wanted to buy a leather belt, and then you ask, how am I sure this is a quality leather and it will last? Before you are done saying it, you see that they will twist it and then stretch it as well, just to demonstrate to you that, look, we are not asking you to believe. We have already shown you that this is quality. Now, that's exactly an expression of demonstration. Yeah, that's exactly a demonstrative way of gaining your trust. So it's not you telling people, trust me, I cannot lie to you. Of course, they won't, because you say it. They won't trust you because you demanded for it. Trust is not gained by demand. Trust is gained by an identified process. All right. In this particular industry, there is no emotion. All right. People won't buy from you because you say buy from me so that I can find money to eat. You know, you have to be very intentional about projecting your brand. They should see your brand daily, communicating what directly brings people in a positive aspect about your brand. All right. For instance, as a personality as a realtor, yeah, there are some communication you are not expected to be found in. There are some social actions you're not expected to carry out. All right. So these are part of what would help you to build an intentional brand. All right. Today you are not supposed to be seen selling um, maybe shoes. You are posting shoes today on your platform, and then tomorrow you are posting cars, and then maybe 2 days after you now remember that you have signed up somewhere to be a realtor, and then you remember to post a property. Already you are projecting a struggling personality, more like a just a survive kind of personality. If car no sell, at least make person buy shoe. Now, what you are projecting out there is a terrible image to the audience that you are on an unstable person, all right, who does not deserve their money. So if you said you are a realtor, which you already know that real estate has been categorized as a very special industry, so you cannot be found rolling within different industry. Of course, they have identified that you do not have a very secured structure in business that enables you to navigate within three major industries. You are told you are navigating between fashion, automobile, and real estate. Those are three major industries, and you cannot effectively navigate, dominate, commit, and also gain a lot of more. I mean, and express value, yeah, and express value in all. Because you see, before you can do that, it means that you have established one system for the first one to enable you thrive, and then you can now duplicate that same system for the next. All right, but if you haven't been able to establish a unique business structure and system to enable you thrive in one and showcase results, and people are easily, I mean, are able to identify the fact that yeah, this person is thriving in this particular industry, and then you are duplicating it in another, and your processes and your brand story showcases your journey. You are, if you are not able to project that, you have already succeeded in expressing a struggling brand in the mind of your audience. That's the mental picture they're going to be having about you. This one, this one is just trying to survive, Jerry. Tomorrow's land, next tomorrow car, another day na shoe. He's just trying to survive. You are not going to be taken seriously because real estate is a serious investment. People don't just buy because they want to, they buy because there is an expectation tied to it. I told you earlier on, as a realtor, you are not even expected to be selling land and building. Of course, that's the end product, but your projection is expected to be that you are actually selling cash flow assurance. All right, you are selling an easily liquidated asset. All right, and then you are also selling a capital protection. All right. For instance, someone brings 10 million naira to you, or you are asking someone to give you 10 million naira to be tied to a property, right? Instead of them going for treasury bill, because those are the questions in their mind. Instead of me, why shouldn't I go for treasury bill? Why should I bring the money to you rather than going for treasury bill? Why should I bring the money to you rather than giving it to one Ponzi platform that is promising me 60% return, all right, on the money at a particular threshold? So they are asking this question, why shouldn't I apply this route? And then you know that if you are not able to answer this question based on their expectation, if all your focus is I sell quality land, I mean I sell genuine land in a good location, if all that you express is about your land, you are going to lose more sales. But you have to understand that most people, as a matter of fact, the majority of people who are buying land are not buying it because they want to buy land. They are buying it because one, they have identified that money left in the bank is losing value. And then at that same point, they do not want to leave it there, and they do not also want to lose the money by hurrying to put the money elsewhere that they are not, I mean, very much sure of the process. And then they are now seeing that one of the most talked about and secured investment in the world is property. And then they're like, okay, maybe I should buy land. Now you see that they have identified reasons why they are buying, and then you are only amplifying I sell land, and I sell land. And then there is another person out there that has identified their need. These people are not just looking for a land purchase, they are looking for a means to secure their capital. They are also looking for a means that when their capital is kept there, it can generate monthly income. So there is cash flow, all right, even if it's not directly given to their bank account on a monthly, you know that a property bought for 10 million naira today will definitely appreciate on a monthly level. So it's appreciating. So the percentage increase is the cash flow attached to that property. And then you look at all of this and communicate based on the percentage on the metrics growth. All right, you look at the percentage on the metric growth, and then you sit back and understand that look, this can never be communicated like just by land or building. You are communicating because you have identified yourself no more just a land seller, but as an investment advisor who is majoring in real estate. Now, a mental picture that they have identified from about your brand at this point is not one land seller somewhere. It's a well structured, experienced, established, and committed investment advisor who majors in real estate. You would not have a competitor that will beat you to this. All right. So it's high time you stop, I mean, projecting a struggling brand out there, and then you communicate more year in, year out. No sales. People are buying daily, yet you are not selling. You are reading testimony from other people. All right. So yeah, pick a point from there, and then um, place a different picture in the minds of your audience henceforth. And then your property projection should be improved. All right. The kind of that you have a property in a pair doesn't mean that you should be projecting like every other person. 10 years ago, or okay, some years ago, they asked you to buy in Lekki. You said Lekki was too far. Today, you can't afford it. And now I'm asking you to buy Ekwe, and then you are saying Ekwe is too far. That's not how to sell. That's not how to project. You are becoming a bully, all right? And you cannot cold sell. You don't cold sell in this industry, you educate to sell. If you apply the route of scolding, you are going to lose more people. As a matter of fact, as you are saying that, the moment they get to that point in your video, they are, I mean, closing it. Because the human mind is not permitted to receive scolding. Even as a child, when you are scolded, you feel bad. So, how much more you scolding an adult for not taking a decision earlier on? The truth of the whole thing is that most people regret not buying land back then when they had the opportunity. Now you coming in to bully them with that ignorance that they had and that regret that they have, you're already pushing them away. So the two things you are supposed to do here is that you've identified what could have been the possible reason, which is what I call knowledge gap. All right, ignorance was the reason why they did not invest back then. So stand with them to fight the ignorance, educate them. All right, so look, you probably might have missed an opportunity to invest in a unique property years back when Lekki, Ikoyi, and the rest of the locations were identified as a very far bush part of Lagos. But that's not the problem. You see, you cannot dwell in what you've missed. Today, we are here to educate you and guide you on how you can make an investment decision, even if you are starting with as low as 1 million naira. You can actually thrive and start building investment portfolio in real estate. And before you know, in the next 5, 10 years, you would be able to beat what you have actually lost in the past. So you when you educate them through the process, they follow you, they pay attention, and they get to like you. You know, people feel their way to buying decision. All right, you have to let them like you. There is something called likability in buying decision. All right, why they prefer you to the other person is because they like you more. When they like you, they trust you. When they trust you, they become vulnerable to you. That means they can give you their money. This is how Ponzi scheme works. All right. And then you have to understand, you are not, of course, you are not a Ponzi promoter, but you have to understand the strategy they implement. Even the network marketers, you have to understand the strategies they implement and then adopt these strategies so that you know that look, it's not about you, it's not even about the land, it's about the end point. All right, the end product is the land actually, but the driving force is not the land. So you have to understand the entire process and know that it's if you will not project that way, you're going to be losing more. All right, and then your brand, what exactly is identified when they hear about your brand? All right. What would people easily talk about your brand? So this is what you intentionally place as a mental picture in the mind of the people. All right. How do you serve them? What are people saying about that particular brand? All right. So everything that has to do with the positive perception, you intentionally build them. All right. And then you look at it that it includes to be able to establish this, you have to intentionally bring up unique visuals. All right. You know, see, when we are talking about visuals here, it's actually what builds the truth mental picture because you see, visuals capture far more than text. As a matter of fact, I don't want to exaggerate, but truth remains that visuals connect more than text because people pay more attention to visuals than they pay more attention to your write up, your text write up, normal text write up, because they are lazy readers. But you cannot say same for what the eyes are easily captured. All right, the eyes is actually one of the things that people cannot easily take away from when they see that visually captivating design or your video. All right, so sit back, come up with the kind of design that truly captures, not just designs that you just wake up. People would identify a design from an amateur, from a design that is for a struggling realtor or a struggling developer. They will identify a design that is for a not so committed realtor. All right, they are always recycling. All right, what the company gave to them is what they keep sharing. All right, no strategy, no creativity, nothing is added. Just as the company, as the real estate company that they affiliated with, design and gave them, so they continue broadcasting. No implementation of a little bit of their own skill, all right, no thoughts from them. So you have to sit back, analyze. If they give you this property, you need to know that look, as an experienced salesman and as an experienced marketer, understanding that perception is everything in this industry, you have to sit back and tell yourself, look, I have to redesign this and capture the most important elements that form a buying decision in this, that drive curiosity, that drive trust. All right, those are That's the point where you understand that it's not everyone that you can sell to the same way. I have in other of my videos talked about different categories of buyers. So you cannot use the same visual you are using for the creative industry income earners for the Nigerians in diaspora. You cannot also use the same for the wealth preservers. Neither are you able, permitted to use the same for the investors who buy to flip. So these are different categories of buyers. You have to sit back. How do they think? You have to figure out how do they think? What drives their buying decision? All right. How can I capture them to be able to gain their exact interest in my property? Because you see, you cannot be emphasizing payment by installment to the wealth preservers. Apparently you do not qualify to talk to them because there is something called classism within them. All right, you have to understand how their mind works. These set of people are not those that you are trying to educate about property investments. They probably have lots of portfolios, all right, of property investments. All they keep doing is just expanding their investments. So they want to know, are you qualified to handle their investments? Are you qualified to be the one they buy from? They don't have money issue. You cannot be talking about payment by installment to them. They don't have money issue. What they have is, am I sure you understand what you are doing? Am I sure you are qualified to tell me about property investment? Because they do not. That's why before they make any investment, they engage what the people they call investment bankers to analyze the investments, and then they pay them. Of course, it's a consulting service. So in this particular case, they are not people who just pick a realtor, a random realtor, and invest with. They need to see that they have identified you as a deeply rooted, committed, and experienced real estate professional. That's what I told you. You cannot afford to project as one who just sells land. You have to project as one who is an investment advisor, but you have a major. You major in real estate. We have investment advisor in finance. We have investment advisors in different areas. But in this particular case, you are an investment advisor who majors in real estate. All right. So what you are going to help them do is that you have all the investment analysis. Look, in present day economy, sir, you cannot afford to just buy to continue building to let. All right, the economy has changed. All right, the most important investment in real estate at the moment, if you are going to be doing commercial, is in this aspect, in that aspect. You speak as one who has deep knowledge of the industry with data. Of course, I've told you in this industry, you are not permitted to be a motivational speaker. You speak with data. Why are you suggesting that? You give them a breakdown with data. Already see, between 2021 to 2023, it was reported by data source that the industry, so you analyzed your points with data. Are you with me? So I'm just trying to make a point to you so that you understand how the data communication. So you bring up the source, you bring up the data, and then even when you're about to introduce a property to them, say, look, of all the property locations that we have, based on our conversations, I have identified your investment needs, and this is actually the most important, the most preferred location for you. Reason is that this property location has this metric growth projection. You can see that it's been estimated that the growth projection of this property monthly is at, you put it in percentage. All right. And then why I'm out, I arrived at that particular percentage because from the launch date, it was launched at this particular price. And then between that and now, with the property has been selling for about a year and 6 months now. And then between a year and 6 months now, the property has grown at this percentage, which means that if you want to put it in a monthly growth projection, it means that it has been growing at this percentage every month. So on your investment, this is the cash flow that gets into your investment returns every month. You make this analysis, not you going to tell people you will miss this one just like you missed the other one. You better wake up now and buy property. I understand that at some point, if you hear too many no's from your means of projection, you may be frustrated to say what you are not supposed to say. At some point, I don't know if you project, imagine making calls, 10 calls in the morning, and then all the 10 calls are on the negative. The next person that will tell you I will get back to you may be forced to ask them, swear that you will get back to me. But you see, it's normal because you are selling a special product. You are in a special industry. All right. One, you have to sit back. Why are others selling and I am not? Why am I always getting no? I have a video that talks about the sales roadblocks, all right, sales objections, and how to navigate it. There is a video I have recorded, is on this channel. Look for it. Just search for it, sales objections and how to navigate it. All right. So you see, there are several reasons why your sales may not go through, but if it has to do with perception, it is your fault. All right. So that's for visuals and then communication as well. That's for visuals and communication. So you have to be able to separate the different categories of buyers so that you are able to communicate effectively to them. You don't mix up. You don't, what you are supposed to say to a Nigerian in the diaspora whose major focus is on trust. How do I trust you? That's their major concern. Probably they've heard stories of people who bought and lost. Family members have probably burnt their fingers, all right? And then they are now being skeptical and more careful. So you cannot just randomly pop up from somewhere and tell them buy properties and then they will pay attention to you now. All right. So there has to be an intentional process that you lay out on your means of communication to these people. All right. Whether you are going to be using traditional means of advertising or you're going to be using digital means of advertising, you have to understand that either organic or sponsored, you have to intentionally imbibe all these processes so that your perception would be on the positive. All right, so when we've talked about visuals, we've talked about communication, and then presentation is important as well. You see, presentation here has been one of the most underrated process in real estate marketing. What you say, how you say it, when you say it, are very, very important. You see, while making a presentation, you have to understand that most times it is not really that you are not qualified for them to buy from you. It's because you could not actually say the things they expect. Property sales is not about you. You are not the one buying. You cannot sell to yourself the way you want to buy it. You have to first understand how these people think. What drives their sale, their buying decision rather? What drives their buying decision? All right. So in presentation, you have to sit back and understand the methodologies that each of the categories are looking out for. What are they trying to verify? For the creative industry income earners, you know that this category of people, one of the things that drives them is emotional excitement. All right. And then you cannot go there and present to them with a threat. Nothing concerns them with a threat. The only thing, their belief system is that as long as this money is coming from crypto today, as long as this money is coming from content creation today, as long as this money is coming from forex trading today, as long as I am in tech and then this money is coming, it will keep coming. So you cannot sell to them as if you are selling to a wealth preserver who has gone through all the rudiments of financial mistakes, investments, and then lost investment, and then bounced back. You cannot, their mindset is very different. All right, the way the wealth preserver thinks is different from the way the creative industry come in. I think so. When making your presentation, you have to understand this. You have to be intentional about how you differentiate a lot of this when talking to them. All right, and then at this particular point, you know what drives these people. Emotional excitement for the creative industry income earners. A particular company made open an estate. I don't want to mention the name of the company, and then made AY their brand ambassador, and then that blew up that company. So it was an intentional process. In fact, it was a very smart strategy that they implemented. All right, they wanted a certain category of people, and then they spoke to them. They said, "Look, Bros AY, which is a revered um, personality in the industry. What I mean is that he's highly respected. So they just wanted him to say a word. I own a plot here, come get yours, and then we can be neighbors, or let's build the next entertainment hub here, so that I mean when I drive by the stop, their mental picture is almost, if I get land here, me and Bros AY go be neighbor. You understand? That's emotional excitement for the creative industry income earners. And then you know that these people are the ones making the easiest money at the moment, the content creators. All right. And then you've identified that everyone who comes in there are trying to become comedian, even though of course you can be a content creator without being a comedian. Even as a realtor, you can become a content creator in real estate. All right. But then every one of them is trying to be a comedian. And what it means is that they are going to directly or indirectly be attached to the brand personality of AY because he is an icon in the industry as well. So you see, these are smart way of making presentation for your marketing process. All right. And then social proof. Nobody wants to be the first to experiment with you. They want to be sure that someone has gone ahead and take the risk of giving you money, and then they want to ride on that person's experiment. All right, they don't want to be the one risking it. They want to see, has anybody taken a risk, has anybody bought from you? That's the end product. So showcase these. The truth is that realtors who sell are not really only the best. Realtors who sell are those who understand how to communicate these processes. All right, they showcase this. You are new, find a way around it, find a way to get social proof, find a way to, I mean, project that you are not just, when go for, they want to see what you have, they want to see your process, they want to see your established commitment in the industry. All right, you cannot tell them, we've been here for a long time now. From where? How do I see that? We've been existing now. How do I see that? All right. When I realized that one of the things that drive commitments and sales in the minds of the people is because when they see that you have a lay down of footprints on the internet, well, they want to see your footprints. I mean, as you are talking to them, most times they may be having a presentation with someone and then they are fiddling their phone. Most times it's not a disrespect. They are looking up something. Okay, this guy said he's been here for a long time. Let me check up. And then what they are looking up for is actually your name. You said your name is Timothy Anete, right? All right. And they quickly checked and then they found out that, oh, yeah, well, unique content. And then they are seeing things. Most times they ask, who is Timothy Anete? All right. Now, I want you to put down, after now, I want you to go to Google and search who is, add your name and see what comes out of your name. Does it give you a positive perception about your brand? All right, who is your name, who is, and then add your name. Does it link back to what you do as a realtor or as a developer? If it does not directly links back to what you do, you may want to talk to us immediately so that we can, I mean, help you on that while you learn the process. All right, so now share your social proof. People that have bought from you, interview them. I mean, share the process when you went for inspection, when you went for allocation, when you presented documents. All of those are very important. All right, perception in this industry, perception it equals packaging plus positioning plus proof. In this part of the world, packaging cannot be overridden. All right, you cannot override it. All right, you cannot override packaging. Most times you go for a presentation, go to meet a client, and when you are leaving, and you see them escorting you to where you parked, and in your mind, oh, this man is a very humble man who, despite how rich he is, he's still humble enough to walk me to the car park. Nah, he didn't just walk you to the car park. They wanted to find out how you came. All right, so you have to understand how the mind of, that's why I tie this particular content to a Nigerian sector, perception in real estate marketing. All right, in Nigerian real estate marketing, yeah, perception in Nigerian real estate marketing. You see, you have to understand that when they escort you to car park, it's not because they are humble. They want to see if you are qualified to receive the amount you are asking. They don't want to give you money and you run away. They want to know this person that is asking for 55, 70, or even let's even say for 15 million. Has he seen? 10 million before. They want to know if you look like someone that has seen 10 million naira before. So you have to look, these people understand that most times you may not be worth what you project, but they want to be sure that you are smart enough to project that to them, because they know they don't want to deal with someone who doesn't look like what they are demanding. As a matter of fact, I've said this before and I will say it again. There is no emotion in this industry. You are dealing with Nigerians. They would judge you by your physical presence first, your dress code, your perfume, your shoe, your car. As a matter of fact, your laptop, in most cases, they would judge you with all of these. They would even judge you by the phone you use. So these are big deals in Nigeria. But you see, you cannot really afford to live a lie about your brand. One of the things that will help you bridge the gap is when you have a unique footprint that builds that experience, that builds that commitment, that builds that as a matter of fact, that showcase you as an authority. Now what they would identify, the real investors identify that someone who has a financial knowledge doesn't live fake, is not is it flamboyant, someone who has a financial knowledge does not live a flamboyant lifestyle. Now, but they have to see something that qualifies you to such an individual. Do you have the footprints and analysis, your knowledge of investments in real estate, a commitment, creativity, and then generally that projects you as an authority. So by the time they have identified that, trust me, you are good, they would even ignore every other physical attribute. But that doesn't mean that you should appear as one who is not qualified for what you are demanding. All right. Of course, you are definitely going to be addressed the way you appear, the way you dress. All right. So yeah, positioning. So I've just mentioned your footprint. That's why I see after packaging, it's positioning, because packaging is not enough. As much as Nigerians judge people by physical appearance, there are also another set of people that would judge the people by saying this one just a package. Of course, they know that these people can rent this. They are the one who call Abuja boys who package gigolo. All right, and they still want that physical packaging, but then they also would call you gigolo if there is nothing that has been identified on your brand when they looked up for it. That's why positioning is an integral part of this journey. You have to position your brand, you have to position yourself when they are looking up for a trusted realtor in Lagos, a trusted realtor in Abuja, a trusted realtor in Enugu, a trusted real estate company in any of those locations. You should pop. All right. When they are looking for, what documents should I be looking out for before buying property in Lagos, Abuja, or Enugu, or anywhere in the world or in Nigeria, right? You should be able to pop making analysis of the property documents and how they apply, right? When they are looking out for what location would appreciate in the next 5 years, you should be able to pop telling them, okay, how can Nigerians in diaspora navigate the real estate industry in Nigeria without being scammed? You should pop. So that's intentional positioning. All right. So these people are actively looking up. You see, most of the people who are going to be buying from diaspora will not even have to see you physically. They would have to trust you because you have positioned. There is a footprint on the internet. There's a digital footprint. All right. I mean tied to your brand. All right. And at the same time, they are seeing proof. All right. So be intentional. Be very intentional about building this to your brand as well. So it's not a big deal. There's no rocket science around this. This is actually why only 2% of realtors are succeeding, because only very few are committed. Only very few have this knowledge. Only very few are acting on the knowledge they have. All right. So yeah, let's go. So why perception matters more than reality? You may want to say, is that not them just judging based on physical? Anybody can lie. The truth is that I've told you earlier on, there is no emotion in this. All right. In as much as people feel their way, to buying decision, you have to understand one thing here. The buying decision that they feel their way to is not being emotional unnecessarily, that they get to accept just anything. All right, they would probe, they would judge before they decide. All right, so you see, perception is more important than reality. All right, the reality is that your property is genuine. All right, the reality is that you are trustworthy. The reality is that you are honest, but the perception is different. They are seeing the perception you are projecting is you are projecting a struggling realtor, you are projecting a struggling developer, you are projecting a property that doesn't look genuine. If you are projecting a property that doesn't look scalable, that doesn't look like something that would appreciate. Whereas in reality, they all are different. They will appreciate. You are honest, you are trustworthy, you will deliver. But what you are projecting is different. What they are seeing, the mental picture they have about your brand is different. So you see, clients would buy trust first before the property. That your property is genuine is not enough for them to buy because they are not having that in their the perception you are sending out as a brand is not that trust. They are not seeing the trustworthiness in the brand that you've communicated out there. They have tried to look you up, and then there is nothing that ties them back to what you are saying you are. I mean, they are not feeling it. They are not able to stay back and say, "Yeah, we trust this brand." All right. So, and you do not demand trust. It is the process that you have showcased that will eventually build the trust. They will have to look out. Okay, this guy is projecting this property. Who is he? Who is Timothy Anete, for instance? And then they look up, oh, Timothy Anete is this, and then that's exactly what they are going to be looking out for you. All right. And then if your property, if a company gives you an estate and you try to start promoting, most of the prospect may be hearing about that location for the first time. And they want where is okay, let's even say Ketu Ekpe, and then they're asking where is Ketu Ekpe, and then you are and the map rather the research query, the result that comes out that the Ketu Ekpe is, and then there are other people who are realtors or developers who have made videos analyzing the location Ketu Ekpe, the new. For instance, the title of that video on YouTube can be Ketu Ekpe, the new investment destination for smart property investors in Lagos. Ketu Ekpe is a keyword, all right? And then they are looking for geographically location is there a new investment destination. So it's because SEO is actually a local geolocality. I'm trying to picture that rightly. So you have to be able to, when you are projecting that particular location, you don't just run paid ad and go to sleep. You don't just run ad and say people that are interested will come. People are just getting to know that location. They would come normally, but they may also want to go look up. They want to research because they are buying something important. All right, they want to make more findings, and then if they land on someone else who had made analysis of that particular property location, the metrics attached to the property, the growth projection, the document, and every necessary information that is needed on that property, but you did not. Trust me, they will not even remember how they got there. They won't even remember who advertised to them. What they will do is that as long as the person that they found the video or the content has a unique call to action, they will land on that person and then they will talk to them. You see, most times you don't even need to post videos every day about your property. You don't even need to post property content, property image, or property videos every day on social media for people to buy. All you need to do is to make yourself a valuable brand who is actually guiding investors to make the right decision. So every day you are talking about, probably you can even be running, especially if you are new, to build trust faster. If you are new, the first thing to do is to create a weekly webinar where you gather investment enthusiasts, where you gather people who are interested in buying properties, whether in Nigeria or in diaspora or Nigerians in diaspora. Create a Google meeting every day, systemize it. It can even be that you have recorded it and then you just play it and go to sleep. And so, or you have a webinar where you've recorded and then you run your ad and people go there to watch your scheduled webinar on a weekly basis. And then this builds trust. They get to learn more about you. You are not just sharing property, you are sharing knowledge. All right. You are educating to sell. All right. You are not being desperate. You are educating to sell. No scolding, no unnecessary smagging. You are actually just doing the right thing by educating your audience in the right way to carry out real estate investment. And then they will get to trust you easily. And when they trust you, they connect. When they connect with you and trust you, they become vulnerable. And that's the point where they can give you their money. All right, as long as they can afford. And you see, most times you don't need to assume that the property you have is exactly what they want. You may want to pay attention to what they really want, because you see, when you start educating, they will be more comfortable enough to call you. All right, hello, I came across your brand. I've actually been studying your brand. I've been enjoying your content and your videos for the last in the last 2 weeks. I would like to know. I'm trying to buy a property for my hotel. I want to build a hotel. Do you have a good location? Now, this one now, it's not about what you have at this point. It's about you getting them what they want. Because most time people want what they want, and there is nothing you can do about it. So, but you have to be able to build the right perception for them to voluntarily come to you. You cannot afford to always run after prospect. You see, it's hard when you are always the one looking for prospects. The truth of the matter is that they will buy faster from you when they are the one identifying you. When they identify you, they will buy faster than when you are the one running after them with your ads. That's actually where positioning matters. All right. So, in a market full of scams and fake agents, looking credible gives you the urge. All right. So, the truth of the matter here is that you cannot tell people I'm not one of those scammers. No, it is your process, it is your market analysis, it is your communication, it is your footprint on the internet that will determine if you are not one of those scams. Imagine I'm scared of not knowing the right property document, and then I stumbled on your video that educates me on the right property document to look out for before I buy any property in a particular location. And I'm looking at that, and then after I'm done watching that, another video pops, and then you are telling me location that really appreciates in 2025 and 2026 if you are going to buy property in Lagos, or generally if you are going to buy property in Nigeria, locations that would truly appreciate and would make your investment worthwhile. And then I'm seeing that I am learning, I'm being educated, and the scam mindset I had is already being taken out, because already I've seen someone who is selfless enough to give me all the information I need, all the frequently asked questions I had in mind, all the questions I had in mind has been assumed and answered. You've answered them all, and then by the time you've helped me overcome my fears, I'm definitely buying from you. All right. So you can have the best property, but if your presentation is weak, sales will be slow, and there is no two ways about it. I said it earlier. You may be frustrated to a point that you're asking yourself, "What happened? People are selling. Are they doing me in the village?" No, it's just knowledge gap, and this is actually when the reason that you are here simply shows that you know what you want. So you are looking for knowledge to improve the gap that you may have. And I appreciate that. You see, your presentation is not just about you trying to sell, it's about you trying to build the right connection. It's about you trying to build trust. It's about you trying to build likability. All right. You want them to like you more than every other person. You want them to prefer your brand to every other person. This is why you see, when you are making that sales call, the moment you pick the phone to make a sales call, you have to understand that you are talking to strangers whom you want to turn to friend, whom you want to bond with you, whom you want to trust you. You see, it's difficult to meet someone on the internet, a stranger, and then the person will cough out 10 million, 20 million, 30 million to you for a property without you being able to connect with the person. They will ask the important question. You have to be able to connect. They have to see something that gives them that, look, this person knows what he is doing. So they want to see that he knows what he is doing kind of projection. All right. And then when they have gotten, then when they like you, connect and bond with you and trust you, they will definitely buy from you. So please don't just pick a call and say, oh, we received your interest in our property. When would you like to come for inspection? Now, that's weak. Don't worry, this is not sales closing session. Maybe if I record another video that has to do with sales closing, I'll post it as well. But one of the things I need you to do now is to click on the subscribe button so that when I put another video, you won't miss it. Click on that subscribe button so that you can also help me grow my channel as well. And then there is a share button as well. Click on the share so you can share to your social media timeline, and then people can learn from you as well. And you can also have a reference point. As a matter of fact, share all the videos on this channel so that whenever you want to watch more, it's easy for you to just go to your page and then click on it and watch more of it. Again, you can share it to your contact as well. All right, and at the same time, like this video, and you can leave a comment so that I can come back and give you a response if you need, if you have questions to ask. All right, so another one is why perception influences value. All right, perception influences value. You see, in hundreds of realtors or property ads that you may see or that your prospects may see, one will be preferred. At the end of the day, they will see lots of ads. They will probably have met lots of realtors. They probably have met lots of realtors. A lot of people have talked to them about property, but at the end of the day, they will end up buying from one person. Why did they buy from that one person? So that should be the question you ask. You know, most times when I read a book, Why is My Friend Rich and I'm Poor? I learned a big lesson from that book. So most time you need to sit back and ask yourself, why are others selling and I am not? Why are others selling and I'm not? So you have to sit back, ask yourself that question. What exactly am I doing wrong? What am I doing that is not in line with what I should have done? All right. By the time you sit back and analyze this, you will see that, look, it could be that the branding of your estate is wrong. You know, a company, if you're a realtor, a company gives you their property information, their property design, and then you run with the property design, you are posting it that way. And probably the company had shared up to three property designs, all right? And then all of them have more than one properties at a time. And then what you have created is already, see, you have created option. Once there is option, there is doubt. They are not able to make an easy decision. Once you have created option, you've created uneasiness in making decision. So you have to be specific. All right, in branding your estate, it doesn't have to be what your company gave you. This is why you have to sit back as an enlightened marketer, as an experienced and exposed salesman. You have to sit back and so that you must intentionally create exclusivity into your brand. You shouldn't be like every other person that is promoting the same estate. You have to be distinctive. You have to create that distinctive personality around that estate that you are promoting. What sets you apart? All right. You see, I would advise you the moment in a month you should decide this is the particular estate that I'm selling in the next 1 month or in the next 2 months or in the next 3 months. And then you make sure that all your content is focused on that estate, and it becomes easier for you. It becomes easier for every other person that wants to buy from you because they get to learn a lot more about that particular property, that particular location, the appreciation, everything. about that particular property. So the branding of the estate becomes easy, and then you would be in the heart and the mind of the buyers. All right, and then the next one here is visuals and storytelling. You see, you don't just be salesy. It's easy for everyone to say, come and buy land every day. You are not buying, no problem. Tomorrow you will regret. So it is actually a very, funny way that I see people carry out they carry it out with threats. Of course, in sales, you are advised to intentionally integrate urgency and threat. The urgency and threat is not for you to threaten people of regrets. It's for you to intentionally inject the fact that it's time bound, and then they are likely going to pay extra if they delay. But it's actually communicated meekly, all right, mildly rather, all right, and then you know that it's a strategy. So when you are using this in marketing processes, you are not permitted to tell people, I'm telling you to buy land today. You said no, don't worry. By the time your landlord evicts you, you will remember that you should have bought land. It's actually the worst way of projecting. Please don't do that. Apply the route of unique visuals and storytelling. All right. Capture your audience with unique storytelling. Bring up how Mr. Adebayo in 1996 got a plot of land in Ikoyi for 36,000, or in Ekpe or in Lekki for 15,000, and today the property in that location is worth this. And this is how it happened. Actually, it was a coincidence. Mr. Adebayo never even woke up that morning and dreamed of having an investment in real estate. As a matter of fact, he never considered it an investment. You see, it was a coincidental investment that has set him that has set him dominantly in his income. Pardon my English, whether it's correct there. My tense is there. But I want you to just project that story. Few years after, by now it should be like 20 something years after, I realized that Mr. Debayo, that simple investment decision he made becomes the most important decision of his life. His finances, his stability, and everything is tied to that investment that they made years back. So what I'm just trying to say is use storytelling. That's just a spontaneous way. I'm not very ready to tell that story. I would have actually captured a story around it. But sit back, come up with story, leverage artificial intelligence to also gain right storytelling processes. And then this is not you allowing AI to write for you. It is you leveraging it. Of course, I keep emphasizing it. The advent of AI is not for them to do everything for you. It's for you to leverage the tools to maximize your productivity. All right. So the next thing there is who is marketing it. You see, people don't just buy the property; they buy the brand behind the property. It can be the person that is marketing it. It can also be the company that owns the property. So you have to be intentional about your projection. That's why you see people go for what we call you see when brands sign up celebrities, influencer marketing, yeah, celebrities to promote their brand. Most times people buy some certain things. There was a particular time, a particular, when you see all these beverage brands signed up healthy children or children of celebrities, and then you see mobile platform or even alcoholic platform signing up celebrities whom they feel are well loved in that locality, in the geolocation that they are targeting. For instance, you see a country like Nigeria, Davido and the rest of the artists are ambassadors for some liquors, for some alcoholic brands, Mattel and the rest. So it's simple. They know that this person is loved and is live of the party, and there are young people who are popping in the club. So they want to know, okay, how when would be their next time in the club and all of those. So these are part of the things that form their decision in signing up people like this to represent their brand. So when you are actually thinking around this, you have to know people buy who is selling first before what they are selling. All right. before what they are selling. So you have to sit back and see, okay, how are they making this buying decision? So I told you earlier on about the brand, a company that signed up AY. They bought by, I mean, based on who recommended it. All right. So you have to build a personal brand intentionally. You cannot afford to be digitally shy in this particular era. All right. Build a brand like, I mean, be intentional. You see, when I understood this, I realized that I needed to leverage a platform, and then I knew that YouTube was going to be one of the platforms I leverage. And I know that someone like you, a realtor, a developer, would need my service. And what I needed to do was I started positioning. If you go out here and search for how to sell properties to Nigerians in diaspora, real estate marketing and sales strategies in Nigeria, real estate marketing ideas, and the rest of you would always find my content. You would find me there. Timothy Aneta, you will find me there because I knew that you would buy from me before what I'm selling. I mean, you buy my brand before what I'm selling first. All right. So intentionally, I had to put my brand to make my brand a welcoming brand so that when you get to experience it, you will know that, yeah, this person knows what he is doing. So they want your company, your prospect rather, also want to see that from you. All right. So project that to them. Let them see that, yes, you are a brand, you are a particular brand that should be paid attention to. All right. So at this particular point, you need to understand that perception influences value. All right. You can be valuable as much as you want, but if what you are projecting out there is perceived differently, your value is actually not going anywhere. All right. So yeah, perception influences value, and you can see here people pay more when they feel the value is higher. All right, and then the value is seen higher based on what you have showcased. All right, and then perception mistakes that cost sales. You see, while it is very important to understand that, look, in this industry there are mistakes that you probably would make, and then your perception will go from 100 to 0, and then with that nobody will be able to, even pay attention to you. All right, this is why companies pay hugely for PR, public relations, so that they can address any negative dent on their image. Companies and brands who understand what perception can do to their image don't joke with effective PR. So you, as an individual, you as a company who understands that perception is what builds and even enhance your sales in this industry, you shouldn't be taking your public relation jokingly. All right, what you project is very important. It's not everywhere that you should be found. All right, it's not every place that should be seen. It's not every place that, you should take videos. As a matter of fact, when you make recording, you have to sit back and see how it looks. When you take pictures, you have to check the backgrounds if there are negative impact around it. So you have to be intentional, because you see, one of the mistakes is that no defined target audience while communicating marketing or sales. I told you earlier on, we have different categories of buyers, and then we are just projecting anyhow. Today, you are talking about if your problem is being able to afford the 10 million naira for a property. We have a payment plan now. You can pay small, you can pay by installment, and then you are actually sending this to the wealth preservers, who are a part of the audience you are broadcasting this to. They will frown at it. Nah, money is not a problem here. The problem is that I don't think you are qualified. And by that, you've just, confirmed their fears of you not being qualified to hold their investments. Because you've just let them understand that, look, I'm still struggling. People I'm talking to are people who pay small, small. So they don't want to be in that category. They want to talk to people who are selling, who have been able to identify their category as well. They want to be among. So these people have elite mentality. That's why you see most of them. If you go to some, if you are projecting for the wealth preservers, you know that there are places you meet them. There are people in the more like Ikoyi Country Club, Lagos Country Club. There are people you meet somewhere around golf clubs. All right, they don't. If you go there, their mentality is different. On a Monday morning, they are coming to play golf. These are not, they are not struggling individuals. Most of them are retired. Their businesses are thriving. They have a solid structure they have built in the years. They are relaxing. They're just supervising their processes. All right. Those are not the kind of people that you're going to be talking to, and then you're talking about payment by installment. They are not having issue financing the properties. As long as they see you among them, there is classism within that. So if you're going to be selling to them, you have to be intentional. Identify the right audience that you are communicating to, so that you don't communicate the right message to the wrong audience or communicate the wrong message to the right audience. So make sure that you have identified this so that your perception wouldn't be seen otherwise. All right. Poorly dressed or unconfident presentations. Nobody pays attention to a shy person. Shy people don't make, I mean, they don't make any bold moves in the world. They don't influence any impact in the world. So you have to be confident when making that presentation. You have to speak as one who is rooted in the knowledge of what he or she is selling. You want me to invest in property? Speak confidently. I asked a question about the growth projection of that particular property, and you're like, okay, sir, you see, and so a client may even ask you, what's the metrics, what's the growth metrics on this property on a monthly basis? And you are like, growth metrics. Okay, sir, and then you give a different answer entirely, and they are looking at you saying, this one doesn't know what he's doing. He's just trying to survive by selling property. He's not committed. He doesn't have the knowledge. And they will not pay attention to you because you see, you can package as much as you want. You do not have the knowledge of the industry, you will still not be able to scale through. All right, poorly dressed, your appearance matters a whole lot. Pay attention to your appearance and then look good, speak confidently, have knowledge about what you are selling. All right, so one of the things you need to know is that you cannot have data. Don't just come sounding motivational. Have data. When they ask what's the growth metrics on this property on a monthly basis, they are trying to know the data that is attached to it on the growth projection. All right. They want to know how far, does it appreciate? How fast does this property appreciate? And this is a fast growing location. No, that's not what they expect. They expect you to say, oh, yeah, you see, this property is going at 30% increase monthly. You see, at the launch rate, this product was actually sold at 6.5 million naira, and within 3 months, it was increased to about 8.2 million. So apparently, it moved within 3 months at about so number of percentage. You quote it, and so far it's been estimated that the location has expanded and opened more than the time of launch. So at this particular point, the growth pace at that particular location has gone from 30% monthly to about 45% monthly. Once you are citing this, they are looking at you and they are nodding. Okay, he knows what he's doing, and then that's exactly how your perception is built. But once you start, sir, okay, let me quickly confirm. Already, your perception has gone down. You don't have information. You don't have the knowledge about what you're selling. You don't know anything around the property, and you want me to buy. Apparently, they will not. Your perception is reduced, and then there's a costly mistake. All right. So no clear online presence, lack of testimonials or verifiable proof. I've told you this. People would always seek to see that someone else has gone ahead to take a risk by trusting your brand and committing their money to it. So they want to be sure that someone has given you money and you did not run away. And then they want to see that the person that gave you money is happy. So what did they say after giving you the money? All right. So the verifiable proof is what they are looking for. That testimonials and verifiable proof. They paid you. You've heard so many stories about people selling receipts. People are now more skeptical about buying properties than before. So they are now asking, who are those that have gone ahead to take the risk? Are they happy? What are they saying? So those verified proofs are what they are looking for. And then, do you have an established online presence? Is there a footprint to your brand on the internet? All right, so pay attention to this. Promoting land like you are selling shoes is the next one there. No storytelling. I've told you earlier on that you see, people can wake, someone can just wake up and buy a shirt of 35,000 naira, and then it's not as quality as they expected, and they would dust it and move on. They would just rant on the internet. These people are not selling quality items, and then they move on because the money is not shaking enough. All right, but someone would not easily wake up and commit 10, 15 million to you without, when you are projecting as though you are selling land, you are selling, rather, you are selling shoes. There is no effective projection, no effective communication, no effective presentation, no effective call to action. You are just posting properties every day as if you are posting shoe, or as if you are posting wristwatch, as if you are posting shirts. You don't sell properties that way. So these are one of the things that build a negative perception around your brand. Every day, once you wake up, you post 10 properties on Facebook. You go to another platform, you post. You go to TikTok, you post. There is no value. You don't express any value. You are just sell, see, sell, 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 sales. There is no value attached to your brand. It will be hard. To be hard for you to scale, to be hard for you to sell. As a matter of fact, if you sell once in 6 months, you are trying, because God just looked at you and said that this person, you've tried. That's a miracle. Let me just send you one miracle. And then you make one sale in 6 months, and then you get happy, you received your 500,000 naira commission. And then 6 months after, no sales. Because what happened there was not built on a structured process. You cannot even repeat. Once you do not have a repeatable process, you only are banking on miracle. And miracle doesn't happen every day. So you have to be intentional enough to understand that, look, you cannot build real estate business with miracle. You have to understand that your sales and marketing processes must be well structured. All right. So yeah, how to improve your perception. Now you see, you have to represent an investment advisor, not just a hustler. People don't just want to buy from a hustler. And as a matter of fact, you'll be surprised if you go to the bank now and ask for a loan. They will tell you, "Oh, sorry, we do not give loan at the moment." That is, if your account does not have good traction. But another one, on that same day, in fact, as you are stepping out, they are calling other people. Sir, wouldn't you need a loan to boost your business? Because they've seen that this person does not need the money. All right, they want to offer him because they know they want security. Your account, home and abroad, they've checked your BVN, they've seen other accounts that you have, and you do not have up to 10 million naira in the account, and you are asking for 150 million naira loan. They will not give you. But see, someone that has 500 million naira loan, they will call him to come and take a billion naira loan because they've seen traction. They see that if he could have this within this period. So the truth remains that people who need help, people who appear like they need help, hardly get helped. This is why the parable of fetching water from the stream to put in the ocean will still continue. The rich will keep getting richer because of their understanding. All right, so they project based on that. So, what this means is simply that you may be struggling, you may be a hustler, but you are not permitted to showcase that struggling personality. Nobody will buy from you because you are struggling. Nobody will buy from you because you want to survive. You know, you cannot wake up and say, buy property so I can see money to feed my children. Nobody will buy from you now. They do not want to associate with a hustler. They want to be sure that you are an enlightened and established brand who is actually deeply rooted in the industry, and you have scaled to a point that you are now projecting as an investment advisor, not just one land seller somewhere who needs to survive. And then you speak confidently and with clarity. When you are talking about a particular property, you understand every detail. The clarity is straightforward, and then you are able to analyze location, and then you invest in professional media. You now understand that personal branding is very important. You don't go anywhere. You don't just take pictures anyhow. You don't just talk anyhow. You don't just post anything anyhow. You don't just engage in every media brand. You understand that at this particular point you are a brand. You need to start projecting professionally, and then you start paying serious attention to what your brand communicates on a daily basis. All right, you share testimonials and behind the scenes, because you know people would always want to see who has gone ahead to take a risk of giving you money. After giving you money, what did they say? Are they happy? Are they sad? Are they regretting? So that's what they want to see, that testimonials. And then the next thing is, are you just falling from the sky? Let's see your process. When did you go for inspection? When did you go for allocation? What are your daily activities like? They want to see some behind the scenes. Be intentional, showcase some of this. All right, educate more than you sell. I've emphasized this so much. Educate more than you sell. Educate more than you sell. You cannot afford to be all salesy day in, day out. People will start blocking you when you every day you are broadcasting on WhatsApp for your property sales. Every day on Facebook it is. And you are wondering, every day I post about my properties, nobody likes. And I have up to 10,000 followers, and nobody likes when I post my property. What exactly is happening? What is happening is that nobody wants to be sold to, and you're forcing yourself to sell to them. But you know the funniest thing, people are buying daily. So the strategy needs to change. You have to wake up and apply a different route. For instance, you can wake up tomorrow morning and say, um, for Nigerians in diaspora, if you are ever going to invest in property in Nigeria, I need you to pay attention to what I'm going to say to what I'm going to say here. The next line can now come. If you have any brother, family member, or sister abroad who would like to invest in property back home, please share this particular post to them. As a matter of fact, share this to your timeline, so that you can have a reference point, because I'm going to reveal something very insightful that will guide you against scam, that will guide you against buying the wrong location or buying property that has government interest. You've already given a hint. All right, and then you start analyzing. You see, I picked interest in property analysis in 2020. And then from there, I have paid close attention to every detail that is attached to properties, from documents to this, to that, to that. And then you carry that content in a story form straight down to where you passed your message on what they should look out for, what they should do, who they should buy for, how they should make verification. As a matter of fact, why they should talk to you first before making that buying decision, because at that point you are gradually making yourself an authority. All right, you are building an authority with the values you are pushing out. So it won't be long, you'll start seeing people coming to your inbox and then asking you questions. All right, and then the next one there is be Googleable. Be searchable online, be Googleable. So I've told you this earlier on. When someone look up, who is this? What do they see about your brand? What comes out on your brand name? What is attached to your name? And at the same time, people may not directly know you before they start searching. When you are positioning, you become visible, because you will be able to intentionally project on the search platform where your brand would be able to come visible when they are looking for something that has to do with the services you render. For example, it can be real estate, property document to look out for, locations to invest in 2025, 2026, something related. All right, so just be able to be sure that you have built an identity that will project you visibly on the media when they are looking up for you. Be Googleable, all right, be searchable, be seen. Don't stay hidden. It's beyond social media. All right, don't stay hidden. All right, so now perception attracts diaspora buyers. It's very important that you note this. See, 90% of those who are going to buy from you from abroad are going to buy from you because they have seen your brand as one they should trust. As a matter of fact, most times they may not even talk to you for 6 months. They will pay attention and keep observing you until the day they are finally convinced that yes, this person knows what he's doing. And you now see them saying, I need 3 plots in this location that you've been promoting. I need 4 plots in this location that you've been promoting. And you'll be shocked to know that they have a lot of information about that location you've been promoting. All right. So the truth remains that they have been observing, they have been watching. So you have to understand that what you do every day on social media is building credibility. What you do every day on your YouTube channel, on Google business account, is building credibility first. All right, because they buy from you once they have identified that you are credible. All right, so your videos, your reviews, client interviews, and quality presentation are what would win them over. I've told you earlier on, you don't have to keep posting video of properties every or pictures of properties every day. You can just be doing reviews. You can be doing videos that educate, that make reviews. You can be interviewing previous clients, and then you can be scheduling webinars, quality presentations, and all of those, analyzing some peculiarities in the market, so analyzing a lot of concerns. Once you start analyzing those concerns, you realize that you're already drawing trust your way. All right. Now, the more they trust your image, the less they question your price and genuinity of your property. All right. And you need to know that the moment they have come to easily trust you, they won't even bother about if the property location is exaggerated. The most important thing is that they become vulnerable once they trust you. They become vulnerable to whatever you recommend, they will go with it. All right. Perception is the product before the product sales. They buy I mean, what they perceive of you is what will determine if they would actually buy from you. All right. Imagine someone saying that since you started selling property in 2010, you have not allocated any. That's a very negative perception on your brand, and it will take a lot of PR to correct that. And you have to be very smart if you are a developer to correct that PR. So, as a realtor, if you are going to sell, all right, the perception on the property, the perception on your brand as well, would have to be very positive. All right. In Nigerian real estate, people are buying into a dream, all right, a brand and a belief. People don't just put money out there. So they go through a particular brand that they know. There are certain category of people who don't bother about how much it costs as long as it comes from that trusted brand. They would want to go and buy from there. All right. So in Nigeria presently, there are some places people would not want to shop from because they have this mindset of their product is inferior. All right. And then there are also places that, irrespective of how much it costs, they would want to buy it. You see, it is perception. It's why you see the same brand, the same quality, and the same product is sold somewhere for 20,000 naira. And then that same product, same brand, exactly that is sold at another place for 150,000 naira. And then the people say, no, I prefer this particular one. What happens there is that they are not buying the product. They are buying into the brand. They are buying the brand. The perception around the brand is what is making them to pay for it as high as it is. All right. The perception around who is selling it. You can see for instance, a flat screen TV, a smart TV of say 65 inches can be sold for 1.2 million by one company, and then another company says they were selling their own for 2.5 million, and people will prefer to buy the one of 2.5, the same size, and then they will prefer the other one. Why? Brand. All right, a particular brand has a different perception compared to this other one. All right, now the problem is no more price, it's about the dream, the brand, and the belief. All right, so it is what they have consistently projected into the minds of their audience, and then they have been influenced to where that they don't believe that any other brand has similar thing to offer, irrespective of how expensive this particular brand becomes. All right, so master the art of shaping perception and you will never lack sales. So the truth is that you can form, you can enable the kind of perception your audience have about you. It's within your power to shape the perception. All right. So you have to just wake up daily and apply everything I've shared with you here so that it becomes easy for your brand to scale. All right. Once they perceive you as a very good brand, once you have your name positively in their book, you would be able to, win their sales. All right. Always remember, perception is a product before the product sells. Don't forget this. Perception is a product before the product sells. Make sure that on a daily basis, when you wake up to project, you don't post that until you've checked, you've cross-checked to see, does this help my brand to pass a positive message? Does this help my brand to send out a message that I am genuine? Does this help my brand? So you have to ask these questions intentionally. And there you have the very last session on this particular video today. You see, I have intentionally shared unique content with you on a weekly basis. And if you found this insightful, I want you to click on that like button. I want you to click on that share button, and I want you to click on the subscribe button and drop a comment. All right, drop a comment. I will be in the comment section to attend to your question. And if you would like to get my complete course on effective real estate marketing and sales, the link is there, marketinglabhq.ng/RET dash course hyphen course, RET dash course. All right. You can go there and then you can get the entire course from advertising, sales strategies, closing, marketing strategy, automation. Everything is there. AI integrated journey in real estate marketing. Everything is there. Complete course. All right. And then when you got there, you won't regret it. I'm going to see you in my next video. Be sure that you have clicked on that subscribe button and then you have shared this video to at least one person. And don't forget to put it on your timeline so that you can have a reference point. My name is Timothy Anete. I will see you next time.